like to introduce our speaker, Tom Baker. Tom is a former Catholic priest who was inspired to follow a different path in his spiritual journey. He is a student of the Edgar Cayce material and embraces the philosophy and is a teacher of A Course in Miracles and is a longtime student of near-death studies. Tom is ordained minister with the Fellowship of the Inner Light and has served our fellowship for many years. He is a professional counselor in the local area. Tom shares with wit and humor and inspires us in becoming more conscious in our journey through life, touching our hearts on the deepest levels. He gets us laughing, which help us to bring forth new insights that are useful in our daily lives and thus nurture life-changing moments. I believe it is the simplicity of his sharing that great truths are revealed. So let us open our hearts today and welcome Tom Baker.
When I was in college, I was very, very lonely. And I got the idea that if I could get a girlfriend and then get married, all of my troubles would go away. You laugh at that. That wasn't meant to be a joke. But it sort of is, isn't it? When I became a priest, I had a terrible disillusionment. The disillusionment was how bad a lot of marriages are. How hateful people could be to each other. The most hatred I've ever seen has been between a husband and a wife. It amazed me, it discouraged me, it disillusioned me. Because here these people had come to me for marriage instruction before they were married, and they would sit in the very middle of the couch like glue was holding them together. They couldn't keep their hands off of each other. They praised each other to the heavens. They thought each other was just the answer to everything. Then we had the wedding, and about 6 months later, they'd come into my office again, and one would sit on one end of the couch, and the other would sit on the other end of the couch. And I said, "What happened?" And one man said to me, "We got married." And he explained to me what had gone on. He said, before we got married, we were each other's best friend. Now we're each other's sharpest critic. So today, I'm going to talk about the solution for marriage, for close relationships. That means between mothers and children, fathers and children, deep friends, people you really care about and who care about you. How we need to develop a Christ consciousness with those people so that we can begin to love them rather than our idea of them. Sometimes we say to a person that we're very drawn to, "You are my dream come true." I hate to hear that. Because it's my dream that you're making come true. It's not us, it's not our dream, it's my dream. The first hurdle in marriage is getting over that. That you're loving someone not quite the one you expected. I remember when I first got married, I would keep telling my wife what she didn't do. You didn't do the laundry right. You didn't make up my bed right. You didn't fix dinner right, not like Mother did. And it became a kind of obsession to me. And finally, she was standing in the kitchen at one point, and she said, "Tom, you've got to stop telling me what I'm not. You need to start telling me who I am." And that brought me up short, but it made our marriage last 33 years, and it's still going. Well, thank you. I didn't expect applause for that, but it hasn't been endurance, it's been love. So, steps in developing Christ consciousness with the one that you really, really love. First, foremost, this should be almost with everybody we meet, a sense of presence. I hate those bumper stickers that say, "I'd rather be golfing," or "I'd rather be skiing." I would rather you be here, not thinking about golfing and skiing or skateboarding or whatever your thing is. Like Ram Dass said, be here now. The first principle in close relationships, which must be practiced, is full presence with the other. Now, to do this, we have to let go of all the other identifications for ourselves. So, if I'm identified with my car more than my wife, she feels distance to me, right? You know how many men practically live in their garages? They have a real world out there. And they're not present to their wives, and the wives aren't present to the husbands. Now, the ego's forms of love are, and this will surprise you perhaps, attraction. That sort of, we found my person or my soulmate. So you're attracted and suddenly you're my soulmate. Edgar Cayce said, well, upon asking who is your soulmate, he said there could be 20 or 30 of them. And he wasn't kidding. There's so many people that we could have a very close relationship, but we're a little afraid of it. It's like God. At first, we're afraid of the punishment of God, but then we're afraid of the love of God. The ego has a kind of safe distance it wants us to live at. Get just close enough, and that's it. Now, during courtship, oftentimes people get really, really involved with each other. And so they get closer and closer and closer and closer. And the minute they get married, they start to distance again. With criticism, with critique, with what you don't do. These forms always lead people finally to oppose one another, see each other as a stranger, and finally make the close person an enemy. That's what shocked me as a young priest. They were friends 6 months ago. Now they're enemies. Well, let's do the disidentification exercise with ourselves. You can take this home. You can do it at any time. And it will give you a little bit of relief. It will help you get in touch with what I call the disidentified self. And it's very simple. You've done it before. We've done it before. Some of us have done it. And it goes like this. You just repeat after me. I have a body, but I'm not a body. I have a car, but I'm not my car. I have clothes, but I'm not my clothes. Thank goodness. I have memories, but I'm not my memories. I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. I have emotions, but I'm not my emotions. I have a house, but I'm not my house. I am. I am. I am. You see the little shift that comes about when you go to I am? It's a kind of a quick little cleansing, like a bird in a bird bath. You just kind of get a little bit of cleansing there. And you return to yourself. Because the moment you reach I am consciousness, in which you are a mystery to yourself, then others can be a mystery to you. One of the difficulties in close relationships is we think we know the person much better than we actually do. We don't know them that well at all. We know them as little stereotypes. 3 qualities and a prayer. He's strong, he's a good provider, and he likes the children. Is that enough? Of course not. You need to be yourself with their self. There's a song out now. It's a spiritual song, and I love it. It does the same for me that the disidentification exercise does. And it goes like this. I'm not the greatest singer, but you will understand that it's a song. How could anyone ever tell you that you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? Isn't that lovely? Now, when I think of that little phrase, I think of a parent and a child. If we could love each other, I'm involved in this too. If we could love each other the way we love our children, things would get really a whole lot better. We'd go to hell for our children, not necessarily for our spouses. So we shift that. We shift that this is a precious, precious person. This recognition of perfection in the other will one day save the world. It finally says that you are lacking in nothing. We already love each other, and we're walking down a road of remembrance. We love each other dearly. We know each other thoroughly. But we've forgotten. We've forgotten the love that we have for one another. That's what Christ opened up for people. He opened their hearts to one another. He made them present to one another. Now, of course, there's the devil. I don't know if I believe in the devil or not. I've never been sure of it. However, I do believe in the ego. The ego is that thought form in our mind that we are separate from God and separate from each other. It causes most of the trouble, especially through attack. Attack comes in the forms of accusation, blame, criticism, judgment, denigration, disdain, and outright ranting. It often leads to an attitude of hatred, and love withdraws. I think I've told you the story. I was at the wedding, and the mother of the bride was standing at the other end of the aisle, and I was the priest. And we kind of looked at each other and sized each other up. And the thought that I had was a cruel thought. The thought was, you are a warthog in peach. Isn't that awful? Some of you kind of liked it, but I was attacking her in my mind. After I did that, I noticed at the reception, people didn't come around me. It's like I had written on my forehead, he's dangerous, be careful. I had someone to forgive. The bride's mother. So that's where we are in our attacks. Now, attack and anger are the outpicturing of fear. And it's how most of us respond to what we don't like, don't understand, and what is disappointing. It's a dysfunctional response and is the reason for the sorrow of the world. Kubler-Ross said you should only be angry and guilty for 15 seconds. If you live out of your anger, you will always be off balance. And if you live out of guilt, you'll always almost hate yourself. Those are not good outcomes. Those are bad outcomes. Now, have you ever noticed that the person in a fight who reacts to the fight is the one that always gets caught? In other words, they see self-defense, or we see self-defense as an attack as well. Many of us have conversations in our minds that are defensive conversations. I didn't do it. I'm okay. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please, 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 please. Those are defensive conversations we have, and we have them with each other. I'm not as bad as you think I am. I'm a lot better than you ever guessed I was. We've got to get there. We've got to extinguish attack with each other in our close relationships, in our families, and in our nation. We are criticizing each other all the time. We've got to stop it. We have to change criticism to admiration, to compliments, to noting things about someone. Like David's hair. David's wife cut David's hair, and she put sparkles in it. See? I say you like that. You like to be noticed. And yeah, right. It's not like, oh, you got your hair cut. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. I guess that's fine. Bye. So we want to be defenseless. Now, Queen Elizabeth II, who died a year or so ago, she had an experience that moved me to my toes. She was in bed one night, getting ready to go to sleep, when an intruder came into her room. Now, if I were the queen, I would have tinkled the little bell next to my bed and have somebody remove the intruder, right? People can be dangerous, you know. But that wasn't Queen Elizabeth's idea. She engaged the man. She said, "Are you a subject of mine?" He said, "Yes, and I have some complaints." She said, "What are they? I'd like to hear them." And they talked for about 2 hours. Isn't that marvelous? She was present to him and he was present to her. Neither of them were afraid. They weren't afraid. They were present. They were interested. They were loving. Now, that can happen between Queen Elizabeth and an intruder. It can happen with all of us. It really can. We're not intruding on each other. We're asking the other person all the time, can you please remember that you love me? Can you please remember that you love me? The world's problems would clear up pretty quickly if we all did that. Now, the other dynamic we may look at is what I call my dream, your job dynamic. Example of my dream of my wife was a person who was like Mother Teresa, Julie Andrews, and Playboy magazine. When I first met my wife, I had not had sex for about 13 years. And it was almost overwhelming, my desire for her to be like what I dreamed about. And finally she said, I just can't do it. Especially the Playboy magazine part. I'm just not that cute. So I'll leave you with a thought. And the thought is, teach only love, for that is what you are. In the Course in Miracles, it says that should be our response to the crucifixion and life. Teach only love, for that is what you are. When we give love, we're teaching love. Once again, love is the recognition of the magnificence of the other. According to A Course in Miracles, all things are either an expression of love or a call for love. That's how the Holy Spirit hears everything. Either love or a call for love. Including assassinations, including terrible things that happen in the world, terrible things that people do. It's all a call for love. When we get that, peace will come to us. Come to us like a little child asking to be held. Now, I've got a poem, but I want to read about being married at 50. I'm 75 now, so this is 25 years ago. But it hasn't changed. Love, age 50. This reminds me of that disidentification exercise a little bit, too. I do not love your body any more than I love mine, now that both are shadowed in the children, now that your body shapes my sleep and worries me awake. Your body was once my God, brutal and secret, just beyond reach but easily tricked, tempting crusades in me, moving me to proclamations of ownership. It was that body I married my youth to and lost the zealot in. That body finally small and simple, randomly scarred and birthmarked, breathlessly plain, plainly desired. I love your name now, a name fitted into mine and still strange to the children. It is a word apart, a clear bell on a cold morning, a red bird in a clean sky, new grass. Thank you, everybody.